Wake up, wake up, wake up.
My name is Michael Khalil Taylor, and welcome to Dual Installations, Analog Illusion, and Morning Sunrise here at Project Row Houses, round 28. This piece is a photograph of a gardener, I guess, named Dennis. I kind of describe him as a botanical alchemist. He plants plants all around the city of Houston and then unearths them and replants them in other places. This particular garden that is in this photograph was actually at Main Street and Dennis, right next to the railroad track, right next to the train track. And he told me that when he plants his gardens, he usually plants them in forests near rail lines because of the amount of energy that circulates around that space. And I also unearthed most of the bricks, rocks, concrete, and materials that were placed there by him, as well as different additions other people added, as well as different things I added. I had gotten away from photography for a while as I started painting more, and more or less only took photographs when I was really inspired by something I saw. So one morning after working on a painting, I walked outside and saw Remius. He got up from behind a bus stop with his bicycle and a carpet and asked me where he could find breakfast. So we went and had breakfast. You know, he asked for the standard homeless man beer, but he only asked for a King Cobra, and he made me drive to the place that had it cheaper, not the place that was closer. So he kind of had this very regal, proud stature to him. And he also started telling me stories about how he survived Katrina and now being down here in Houston and not being able to find his family and things of that sort. And after our conversation, he basically started to leave, and I paused for a moment and asked him if he mind posing for a picture. This installation is Morning Sunrise. It's primarily my response to losing family and houses and memories and various things to Hurricane Katrina. I returned to New Orleans last summer to bury my uncle, Elliot Burke. He was a flautist as well as a poet, and he was one of the members of my family that I could always look at when I needed an archetype for a creative individual. Now, when he passed, we traveled back to New Orleans as a family, and it was the first time I had seen many of my family members since Katrina. He actually died in California a few months before he was to move back to New Orleans. So that experience of going back really didn't hit home until I woke up after we drove there at a hotel. I had never had to stay at a hotel in New Orleans. There were always 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandma, where I could stay or where I could at least be at. And I think that realization inspired me to continue a project that I had started in '02 of inserting my family into a shotgun house. This is actually a mural of the video that is also part of this installation, which shows the narrative of essentially starting at the funeral procession in a church and bringing back certain icons, such as the lights that I always looked at on the ceiling and the stars from the flag. That symbolizes to me kind of like a sacrifice that African American men always made but weren't always honored for. But he still was buried with that flag, and we still paid honor with that part also. And we had singers, as well as right about here is where we have the break where we move into the second line outside, where we had young musicians as well as more established musicians, and just people that walked up. There were people that walked out of businesses to stand in the street and dance. There were people that walked out of businesses with instruments and just joined in the second line. So the idea of walking down the street and celebrating and people not even knowing what they're celebrating, but they're gonna join in, was a very beautiful experience. because to look up and just see some old lady walk out the door and start dancing, you know, and she can see the casket and she can see it was so beautiful. It really changed the whole emotion of the experience.
I lost one.